Mid-State Christian Academy, family and friends, students. That's new. That's new. Jordan, I don't know if he's trying to shoot for a raise or something. I don't know what he's doing. Okay. No one's ever done that, Jordan. You were the first one to give me a standing ovation over the loudspeakers. All right, let's go ahead and start with the word of prayer, and then we're going to start recognizing some students today. Dear Lord, thank you for the chance to be here and to honor these students who have worked hard, to recognize their effort, but not just them, the effort of their parents, their grandparents, family, and friends, those who have fought hard for these students this year, those who've worked hard alongside these students. I pray that all the honor we get, we would be appreciative of, but in the end, give it right back to you. You are the one who gave us the opportunity, the people in our lives to help us, and you're the one who gave us the abilities that we have to succeed. We thank you for that. In Jesus' name, amen. Before we start our award ceremony, I always like to begin by explaining what we're doing and why we're doing it. Unfortunately, not every student in this room is going to get a certificate, an award. My belief is that awards should be given to those who have earned them. I understand the idea of participation awards, and I get it. I think that they're valuable in sports. You know, you made an effort, you played hard. When it comes to academics, though, we want to recognize those who've worked hard enough to receive an A, a B, who've worked hard in their character to receive a certificate or award outside of academics. But I do want to say this. I realize that not everyone is on the same level, you might say, gifted when it comes to academics. God has gifted some with the ability to do math very well. They literally can see numbers. As the teacher is teaching, they don't need a whiteboard. They can see it in their head. And others, it doesn't matter how much you put on the whiteboard, it's hard for them to put all those numbers together. That doesn't mean that one student is better than the other. It just means that God has gifted a student more than the other. I will say this, though. I believe that most students, whether math, science, history, or English comes easy to them or comes hard to them, most of the time, if you work hard enough, you can achieve some level of success. Now, I realize that even some students, they work extremely hard. They work the hardest they could, and they're still not going to get on the A, B honor roll. You know what I believe personally in my own life as I've worked with students over the years? That if they're not gifted academically, where they work their hardest and they don't achieve a B, you're probably going to find that they're gifted in other areas. Arts, athletics. They might be gifted in relationships. Friendships come easily to them. They might be gifted in areas we're not recognizing today as a school. They would be recognized by their coaches on the sports team. They would be recognized in another situation where they're doing what they do well and they'll get recognition there. So please do not think, parents, that if your student does not receive the award you hope they would, that our school or our teachers thinks any less of them. I got to tell you that if they are here at the end of the year and have passed their classes, that in itself is an achievement. Mid-State Christian Academy is no small feat. We expect a lot of our students academically. We expect a lot of them in their character. And most students who come to our school, when they transfer to other schools or colleges or universities, are usually at the top of their class when they go somewhere else. Even if they didn't do well here in our standards, almost everyone else's standards are pretty much below ours. And our students are, if they're on a C average here, they're pulling A's and B's at another school. So students, this is not a certificate of who's better than other students. This is a certificate recognizing and honoring your hard work if you've achieved a certain level of academics. So let's go ahead and start with our lowest elementary grade, and that is first grade. I'd like to have the teachers come up as I give out these awards. The teachers will assist me. So Miss Vaughn, let's give her a round of applause. Miss Vaughn has been our first grade teacher for her second year now. And we have been thrilled to have Miss Vaughn here with us. Miss Vaughn will cease to be Miss Vaughn after this summer, getting married, Miss Vaughn. Yes, and you know what's really great? In July, is it July you're getting married? August. You know, oftentimes when a teacher gets married, we lose them. But as of now, at least, we're hoping to keep Miss Vaughn and become Mrs. Isherwood, and she's planning to stick around and come back and teach for us another year next year. So praise the Lord for that. Got married and still going to stick around. That is an unusual feat right there. Okay, we're going to start with our first grade academic achievements. From every elementary class, we have a special award for the student who received the highest GPA in their class. I'd like to call the students up. They'll receive their awards. They'll stand up here with you, Miss Vaughn, and then we'll have the picture with all the class, and then we'll let them sit down after we're done. So the highest GPA in first grade, along with A honor roll, is Naya Singletary. Also receiving A honor roll, Olivia Igartua. A honor roll is given to students who averaged A's for the entire year in all of their classes. Students who averaged a combination of A's and B's are given the A-B honor roll. We have for our A-B honor roll, Brooklyn Alves. Justin Assad. Skylin Mullins. Emma Owens. Ariel De Jesus. Nicholas Bermudez. Jonathan Oliva. Julia Tiblong. From your teacher, there you go. Charlie Wolverton. I'm going to have our assistant teacher, Miss Hoxie, come on up as well. Miss Hoxie's been with this class since last year. She was their assistant teacher in kindergarten, has followed them up into first grade, and we're not done yet. Have some more awards. Miss Hoxie has been doing a great job assisting the class. Miss Hoxie, I'll let you give out these next awards for our various character. Miss Vaughn, you can stand at the end there so you can be in the picture when we're done. Our most helpful award goes to Justin Assad. The next students would be ones who may have received A-B honor roll already. They may not have, but the teachers have come to the conclusion that these students, whether or not they received an honor roll, worked extremely hard this year in a particular subject and would like to be recognized most improved. Most improved in phonics, Laura Coronado. Most improved in arithmetic, Hannah McWilliam. Most improved in reading, Zachary Johnson. And most improved in writing, Daniela Ars. Let's give one more round of applause to our first grade class. We'll have the teachers stand behind. Parents, if you'd like to take some pictures, go ahead and stand up. Parents, if you'd like to come up front, we'll give you a couple of seconds to come on up for some pictures. All right, have a seat, first grade. Thank you. Now, this has been a year of less chaos, you might say, than the previous year, but unfortunately, we still have had some students and some teachers who have struggled with illnesses, specifically COVID. And believe it or not, our second grade teacher was one of them. She actually was tested positive over the weekend, and so Mrs. Stewart was not able to make it today. Broke her heart to not be able to be here at the end with their students. So we have our teacher, Miss Turner, come on up. Miss Turner has been assisting all of our classes from preschool through 12th grade the entire year. She has been our stand-in substitute and assistant teacher and has had a great attitude all year, helping out wherever she was needed. And today, she was needed in second grade. So she was helping them, and she's going to be up here with me today handing out the awards. Let's begin with our highest GPA and A honor roll, Sydney Smith. A honor roll, Robert Plummer. A honor roll, Ariana Miller. AB honor roll, Isabel Almo. And Leilani Walker. Most improved in spelling, Esther Stephen. Most improved in reading, Cadence Gordon. Not here today. Most improved in penmanship, Dahlia Ramos. Most improved in arithmetic was also Cadence Gordon. And most helpful in the class, Ariana Miller. Parents, if you'd like to take some pictures of your students, come on up. We'll give you a few seconds. Okay, you can have a seat, second grade. Well done. Our third grade teacher, Mrs. Lafreniere. Come on up, Mrs. Lafreniere. Mrs. Lafreniere was given the option at the end of last year. You were not the third grade teacher last year. She was fourth grade, right, Mrs. Lafreniere? Fourth grade teacher, and we needed a third grade teacher. And I said, Mrs. Lafreniere, would you like to be the third grade teacher? I said, there's going to be 20 students in there. Do you want to be the third grade? Prayed about it, right? Prayed really hard about it, and God said, yes, be the third grade teacher. So here she was, knowing full well that she would have one of the largest classes. She took it. It was not forced upon her, and she did a fantastic job this year. So thank you, Mrs. Lafreniere, for all your effort with the third graders. We have our highest GPA in the class and a honor roll, Camden Alves. A honor roll, Drew Stewart. Jared Tablong. Liam Urarte. And A-B honor roll, averaging A's and B's for the entire year, Walter Armijos. Amelia Assad. Evan Bronco. Juliet Carpenter. Aria Forrester. Benjamin Newton. Hunter Owens. Ethan Rayola. And Nyla Shaw. I'd like to have Mrs. Stewart, Mrs. Pam Stewart, not the one who tested COVID positive over the weekend. Mrs. Stewart has been assisting the third grade class, really since like the first month of school, right? There was a couple of weeks in the beginning, and then you've been here the rest of the year. Mrs. Stewart came in with the job description of assistant, but unfortunately, Mrs. Lafreniere also had COVID this year, and there was multiple days, even I think an entire week, where Mrs. Stewart took the class on her own. And I'm pretty positive there was at least 3 or 4 days you had no assistant. She was in there with all the students, no assistant, and did a fantastic job. So thank you for stepping in, Mrs. Stewart, this year. All the work you gave the class and the families. Most improved in science, Nyla Shaw. Most improved in history, Juliet Carpenter. Most improved in arithmetic, Evan Bronco. Most improved in language, Adele Rivera. And most helpful, Drew Stewart. He worked hard for that one. All right, folks, if you'd like to come get a picture of your class, come on up. You do not have to stay in your seat. You're welcome to come on up here and get a picture closer up. Smile, students. Hold up your certificates. All right, third grade, thank you. Have a seat. Fourth grade, Mr. Mesa, come on up. Mr. Mesa's first year teaching here at Mid-State Christian Academy. He's had teaching experience, internships previously before this, but as far as a full-time teacher first year, and I got to say, Mr. Mesa knocked it out of the park. His class loves Mr. Mesa. Mr. Mesa did a great job. I'm very, very, very fortunate as a school to have the quality of teachers that we have across the board, elementary, secondary, and especially when you're getting quality of teachers from your first year. Mr. Mesa is not our only first-year teacher, and every one of our first-year teachers this year, you would not have known it if you weren't told that it was their first year. They were teaching like they were veteran teachers. So thank you, Mr. Mesa, for all the effort you put into your class. Our highest GPA and A honor roll for fourth grade, Christian Hudabanko. The remaining honor roll students are all A, B honor rolls. Brielle Bronco. Sheena De Jesus. Liliana Dibble. David G. Josiah Rodriguez. Nathan Torres. And Brady Wolverton. Most helpful in fourth grade, Michael Horrigan. Most improved in science, Lily Dibble. Most improved in English, Brielle Bronco. Most improved in history, Naomi Hayes. And most improved in arithmetic, Nathan Farm. All right, fourth grade parents, if you'd like to come up and take some pictures, please feel free to do so. Thank you, fourth grade. Our fifth grade teacher, Miss Malello, come on up. We are fortunate on many levels as a school. One of them is the amount of tenure that our teachers give us. A lot of Christian schools, especially in the last 3 years, have had a high turnover rate of staff for a variety of reasons. Miss Malello is one of our longest standing teachers here. In fact, she's been at Mid-State Christian Academy working here longer than me. I've been here 10 years. I believe you got me by a couple years, right, Miss Malello? 1 year, okay. So Miss Malello been here 11 years teaching faithfully. And obviously, as I've stated, we have a lot of teachers who do very, very well, but on a regular basis, as a principal, I would say Miss Malello has been one of our top performing teachers. The love she puts into her class, what she's able to pull out of the students, the level she's able to bring them to consistently above what I would call expectations. So Miss Malello, outstanding job again this year. Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause. Our highest performing student, highest GPA, and A honor roll, Lily Almo. Also A honor roll, Livia Gaudiano. A honor roll, Peyton Rayola. A honor roll, Sailor Walsh. A.B. honor roll, Nicholas Adkins. Ella McWilliam. And A.B. honor roll, Levi Newton. Most improved in arithmetic, Nicholas Adkins. Most improved in history, Ella McWilliam. Most improved in reading, Abby Natal. Most improved in spelling, Levi Newton. And most helpful, Ella McWilliam. All right, parents, if you'd like to take a picture, come on up. And you can have a seat, fifth grade. Thank you. Before we move on to secondary, I'd like to recognize some students who every year we just want to show appreciation as a school to those students who have made efforts to be here. That in itself is no small feat, especially with all of the sicknesses we've had going on. And believe it or not, we got about, I think it's 4 or 5 students who actually attended every single day that was available here at Mid-State Christian Academy. I'd like to call those up now for our perfect attendance. Peyton Rayola, perfect attendance. Come on up, Peyton. Alexis Antonio, 6th grade, come on up. Angelique Valdez, 6th grade. And Jonathan Oliva, come on up, Jonathan. 1st grade. If you'd like to get a picture of your students, parents, come on up. Perfect attendance for the entire year. Great job, students. Have a seat. Our next group of students will only be elementary, and these are the students that our elementary teachers have chosen from each class who they believe best represent Christian character. Now, I want to explain something before we give these out. The teachers cannot see the heart of your student. It is even hard for a parent sometimes for us to see the hearts of our children. The evaluation of these certificates is not who is closest to Christ. There's no way for us to know that. It's not based off of who loves God more. There's no way for us to know that. It is based off of the teacher's experience with the class and which student consistently evidenced the character traits that you would expect a Christian to have if they were following Christ. Now, I get it. There are good actors out there, and sometimes people can portray something that doesn't actually exist. But our teachers have been around these students long enough where I feel like the students they've chosen, to the best of our ability, we've chosen these students not because they're good actors, but because their actions truly do reflect their heart. Their love for God, their love for people, their love to do what's right. And so the following awards go to our students who evidence that Christian character. I'd like for our assistant principal, Pastor John Lafreniere, to come on up to help me give these out. Now, if you've been on this journey with me over the last 10 years, you've recognized how much God has blessed Mid-State Christian Academy. And with blessing sometimes comes a need for change. And those who aren't willing to change will often throw the blessing that God gave them right out the window. I'm not scared of change. In fact, I embrace it. And oftentimes with change, it's not just changing ourselves and changing how we do things, but often even changing up personnel and bringing new people in and moving people around to different positions. And for years, folks, years, I've been praying that God would bring someone to Mid-State Christian Academy to partner in the form of administration and leadership. Now, as I was praying for someone, I had a choice. I could look for a principal, someone who's educated and experienced in education and administration, and train them to have a pastor's heart, or I could look for a pastor and train them to be a principal. I decided it was pretty easy for me. I was looking for a pastor. I wanted a pastor because I believe it's easier to train someone to be a principal than it is to train someone to be a pastor. And so Pastor John came our way and had been an answer to prayer for multiple years of prayer. And so Pastor John has been a pastor for many years. Youth pastor, you've worked with children, worked with adults, was the lead pastor at your last church. And so God brought to us a pastor who we are now training to be a principal, but I'm not doing all the training. Pastor John is taking initiative, taking some classes to finish up a master's in educational leadership, has already had multiple classes under your belt, doing some more here in the near future. And so Pastor John he's the assistant principal this year, going to be assistant principal next year. We're moving him to a new position next year where he's going to assist me with the teachers. Our teachers, they are so gracious to me. I'm the lead pastor of the church. I'm the principal of the school, the administrator of the school. I coach. I teach 3 to 4 classes every year. I have 5 kids. The list goes on and on of things that I do. And my teachers oftentimes are left just kind of on their own. Like, I tell them what to do, and I don't check in on them necessarily. Like, I expect them to do it. And they really are a great staff, but they don't get from me what they deserve. And so next year, we're going to give them Pastor John, and Pastor John is going to partner with our teachers, classroom evaluations, giving them helps on how they can be even better than they are and have been. And so I'm hoping that will be a big benefit to our school, and you will probably recognize the quality of academics increasing as the quality of the teaching increases under the leadership of Pastor John next year. So thank you so much, Pastor John, for your commitment to this school. And giving out our Christian Character Awards, we have for first grade, Naya Singletary. Second grade, Leilani Walker. Third grade, Aria Forrester. Fourth grade, Brielle Bronco. They're all girls. I know. What does that mean, boys? All the boys on the front row are saying they're all girls. Someone cheated. No one cheated. They're doing really well. And you know what? Believe it or not, the last one's also a girl. Fifth grade, Livia Gaudiano. All right, parents, come on up and take some pictures of your students with Pastor John. All right, thank you, students. Have a seat. Thank you, Pastor John. We're now going to go into our middle school. I'd like for Mrs. Mesa to come on up to the front, please. Mrs. Mesa teaches a variety of middle school classes and also a first-year teacher. And Mrs. Mesa, she knows her stuff, let me tell you. Mrs. Mesa is one of the teachers that I probably had to, over the years, when it comes to first-year teachers, obviously, inevitably, you got to give some direction. They're not used to teaching in an environment where they're given full authority. And of all of my teachers that I've had over the 10 years, I'd have to say that Mrs. Mesa is probably the teacher that I've had to give the least amount of direction to in their first year. Mrs. Mesa came in, and she was ready to teach and needed very little. In fact, there was a time where I didn't give direction. She came to me and said, what can I do better? I mean, that doesn't happen very often, where teachers are coming to me to be critiqued. And so Mrs. Mesa, outstanding teacher, outstanding job. Mrs. Mesa is going to be joining her husband next year in 4th grade, our 3rd grade class, 20 students moving up to 4th grade. And so we've got a husband-wife team teaming up to take on the 4th grade class and to teach them, bring them to the next level. So she's going to be moving from middle school to elementary. Let's give her a round of applause, Mrs. Mesa. Our highest GPA for 6th grade and A honor roll, Hudson Alves. A honor roll, Dylan Zeskind. A honor roll, Aiden Forrester. A B honor roll, Alexis Antonio. Noah Assad. Kinsey Smith. Jack Wood. And Lucas Wood. Parents, if you'd like to take pictures of your students, come on up. All right, thank you, students. Have a seat. Mrs. Mace, I'm going to have you stay up here with me, please. Mrs. Mace is going to continue assisting me with 7th grade. Our highest GPA and A honor roll, Abby Smith. A honor roll, Victoria Francis. Rebecca Gaudiano. Chris G. A-B honor roll for 7th grade, Mariah Apit. Jake Chapis. Aiden Rivera. We have 2 students in 7th grade who overall were most improved. And by the way, we just chose to do most improved for the entire middle school, and both happened to be in 7th grade. So we'll give those now. Most improved overall for the middle school students, 6th through 8th grade, those who tried the hardest, brought their GPA from first quarter to fourth quarter, a significant jump in improvement. The first most improved, Jake Chapis. And the second, Elizabeth Torres. All right, parents, come on up and take a picture. Thank you, students. Have a seat. Our next class is 8th grade, and if I could have Miss McKellier come on up, please. Miss McKellier has been teaching high school and middle school English since she's been here, along with electives. And then at the end of last year, I knew that we were going to need a middle school science teacher, and Miss McKellier told me she would love to teach middle school science, and she almost essentially begged me for the position. And I said, Miss McKellier, you have been teaching English. You have the notes. You have everything done. I said, you know it's going to be a lot of work to teach new classes as opposed to teaching the same ones you've been teaching for years. She understood that and accepted that and was thrilled to work harder this year, to do more work this year, just so she could teach middle school science. You really love science, Miss McKellier. So that's great. And a teacher who loves science usually does a pretty good job of instilling that love into their students, and I think she has achieved that this year. Many of your students, I think, have a better appreciation for science this year than they have in the past. So let's give her a round of applause, Miss McKellier. For 8th grade, our highest GPA and A honor roll, Brianna Roden. Also A honor roll, Teddy Leach. A honor roll, Joshua Medina. Taylor Singletary. And our final A honor roll, Jimmy Wood. A B honor roll, Lydia Assad. Grace Dorner. Bresden Greenwood. Nashla Montero. Joseph Sapienza. And Jacob Tablong. Tonight, we have our 8th grade graduation. These students, along with their classmates, will be celebrated as they'll walk up the front here, and we'll have a couple of speeches from the students, and we'll be able to honor the achievements that they've made up to this point in their life. We'd love to have you join us for our first ever 8th grade graduation here at Mid-State Christian Academy. It'll be in this room tonight at 6:30. Let's give one more round of applause, parents. You're welcome to come take a picture. Thank you, students. You can have a seat. We are going to, at this time, recognize our Christian character for the students in middle school. We chose 2 students, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and the boys will be happy to know they have a male student representing them there now in middle school. So our first student Christian Character Award, nominated by the various teachers in middle school and the administration combined, Hudson Alves. And Grace Dorner. All right, parents, welcome to take a picture. All right, thank you, students. Miss Ward, would I be embarrassing you if I had you help me with math club? She's kind of looking at me. Okay, here she comes. Let's give Miss Ward a round of applause. I'm sorry, Miss Ward. I should have probably told you like 2 months ago I was going to do this. Come on up here. I got them all. Miss Ward has been the most help to this school outside of our staff who are paid to do what they do. Outside of our pastoral staff who are here as a calling, Miss Ward has a job outside of the school. You wouldn't know it by the amount of effort and time she puts into Mid-State Christian Academy. Whether it's helping us plan and organize functions, assisting with after-school clubs like our math club, as well as our home economics club, and so many more things that she has done, including fundraisers. She truly is a blessing from God. Miss Ward, though, is beginning to feel the weight, aren't you, Miss Ward? As our school grows, what you signed up for back when we had 110 students is not what you're currently signing up for now. At the end of this ceremony, we are inviting parents to join us for a parent association meeting in this room. So whether you signed up for or not, whether you planned it for or not, if you are coming back next year, we'd love for you to stick around, maybe 15 minutes, Miss Ward. We'll try to keep it short. We're going to answer any questions you have about this year, next year, and then start getting some parents to partner with Mrs. Ward on things that parents can do with and for the school next year. So let's give Mrs. Ward a round of applause. Specifically now, we're going to call up our math club students. So Mrs. Ward, last year was the first year. Last year and this year has been working with students on math club. Now, math club is not a math tutoring. It is a math, you might say, competition on a national level. Our students are testing and comparing scores to students across the nation. And so we have some students who have been very faithful to this. We're going to recognize them now with a perfect score. Does that mean every test they've taken, they got everything right on every test? Wow. Okay, then, that is impressive. And the perfect score for Math Club this year, Kinsey Smith. Noah Assad. Hudson Alves. Peyton Rayola. Levi Newton. Sailor Walsh. Isabella Skinner. Now, these students, I imagine, are taking different tests that coordinate with their age group, correct, Mrs. Ward? They're taking the same test that is for this group as a whole. 4th, 5th, and 6th grade tests that they all take. Let's give them a round of applause, folks. Perfect score on every math test they've taken. We have one honorable mention, which is a student who was basically one question shy of a perfect score of all the tests that she took. She only missed one question. We're going to call her up now, Angelique Valdez. Parents, if you'd like to take a picture, come on up. All right, students, you may have a seat. Mrs. Warden, you're going to stay up here with me. We're now going to recognize those students who attended our math club, which, there's a lot of clubs we offer. I don't imagine a lot of students would want to go to math club, but I guess I'm wrong because we got a lot of certificates to give out. And the fact that these students chose to stay after school to do more math, I am all okay with giving them a participation certificate, which is what we're going to do. So well done, students, for the commitment you've shown this year to math club. Alexis Antonio. Abby Natal, Christian Hudabanco, Jose Guadardo, Michael Horrigan, Gabriel Horrigan, Nathan Torres, Sheena DeJesus. These are the students who were committed to our math club. Parents, come on up and take a picture. Thank you, students. You can have a seat. Mrs. Ward just informed me that those students who were honorable mention and perfect score will be getting a trophy. Unfortunately, they were delayed. We'll get those in their hands at a later date. Now, students don't just join from fourth and up. We have some students third and below, and that is the Math Club Junior. We'd like to recognize them and their participation in the club. Ethan Rayola, come on up. Camden Alves. Caden Rilo. Benjamin Newton. Hunter Owens. Liam Urarte. Dylan Bison. Walter Armijos. Amelia Assad. Aria Forrester. Elijah Lafreniere. Adele Rivera. Nyla Shaw. And Drew Stewart. Parents, come on up for pictures. All right, thank you, students. Have a seat. Well, I'm going to move on to our ninth grade, and normally I'd call a teacher up here, but I got to tell you, I love teaching. I really do. I love a lot of things, and unfortunately, sometimes I have to choose between what I love more, because you're right, parents, you just can't always do everything that you love. You can't accomplish everything that you love. But I got to tell you, last year when I knew that we needed a ninth grade math teacher, I love math. I don't love it enough to add it on top of everything else that I already do. But I love the ninth grade enough where I was willing to teach math, not because of my love for math, but because of my love for this class, ninth grade. I truly do love this class. I love all the classes. You guys are great. I love being a principal of the school. I love being a coach. But I have a special place in my heart for ninth grade. I've been teaching them multiple years in a row, and get to teach them again next year, guys. Like it or not, I'll be your teacher again. How cool is that, right? Some of you are like, yes. Some are like, oh, man, well, you get over it. So we're going to move you guys up to 10th grade, and hopefully I'll be able to move up with you. That is the plan. Ninth grade, going to call you up. I'll be handing you the awards. We have for our highest GPA and A honor roll, Michaela Newton. Good job, Michaela. AB honor roll. The reason you guys are probably not on the A honor roll is probably because of math, right? Like I'm your math teacher, and this is why you're not on A honor roll. I feel bad for that. Okay, AB honor roll, Caden Tremaglio. Algebra 1's a tough class. I admit that. Good job, Caden. AB honor roll, Sienna Robin. Caitlin Pollock. Lucas Cotter. And we had 2 students chosen from our 9th through 12th grade who was most improved. Again, the student who had increased from their first quarter to the fourth quarter, and there was a significant leap in scores. Not because this student lacked the ability to do well, but the student transferred to our school last year from a different country and struggled last year to get where she needed to be at the end of the year. And the leaps and bounds that she took over this year were just mind-blowing in more than one class. And so most improved, 9th through 12th grade, Sienna Robin. Parents, come on up and take a picture. All right, thank you. You can have a seat. Let's go to 10th grade. Pastor Jordan, come on up, please. Pastor Jordan, his second year here at Mid-State Christian Academy, and as Miss McKellier begged to teach middle school science, Pastor Jordan begged to teach 10th grade health class. And I said, Pastor Jordan, if you teach 10th grade health class, you also have to teach geography. Pastor Jordan said, I don't like geography. I think he might have used the word hate. I don't remember. It might have been thrown in there. And I said, well, if you teach one, you got to take the other. And he said, I'll teach geography just so I can teach health to the 10th grade class. Pastor Jordan, I think, has a special place in his heart for that 10th grade class. I believe that you love them very much, and I think that they know that. So we're going to have Pastor Jordan representing our staff here for the 10th grade. Let's give him a round of applause, Pastor Jordan, for all of his work. Highest GPA and A honor roll goes to Sebastian Harivo. A honor roll, Madison Stuckey. A B honor roll, Levi Williamson. Mariah Hernandez. Nicholas Govea. Isaiah Diaz. Mia Candelora Cruz. Daniel Assad. And as I said earlier, the last student for most improved, it was pretty easy. All I do is I look at the report card, and I see first and last quarter, and like the previous student, it was shocking, the grade improvement, which just goes to show you, as I stated, God may not gift every student on the same level academically, but you can see when a student turns a corner academically, not because they got smarter, not because they ate something different, but there was an obvious increase in effort in school, and their grades reflected that. The most improved is a 10th grade student, Bryant Rosario. Not here today. All right, parents, come on up if you'd like to take a picture. Thank you, guys. Have a seat. I'd like for Mr. Palmer to come on up now. Mr. Palmer, science and high school math teacher. Mr. Palmer is not only a teacher, he is a volunteer janitor. This man does more work than any other of our other teachers by far. He is one of the last ones to leave, and it's not because he's studying for the next day's lessons. It's because he's cleaning up, picking up trash, which I don't pay him to do. I never asked him to do. There was one day years ago, Mr. Palmer said, hey, no one's getting the trash after every day. And I said, yeah, myself or someone else does it. He said, can I start doing that? And I said, you better believe you can start doing that. And he's been doing it every day since. This man spends at least an hour plus after everyone else is gone. He is still here doing things he doesn't get paid to do. That is on top of whatever lesson preparation I know he's doing at home. I know he's doing in the morning and at night. We have cameras outside the building, and I get the camera feed to my phone, so I know when teachers are coming in. Mr. Palmer is consistently one of the first teachers. The man is at school before I even left the house. This guy is at school preparing for the day, sometimes before I've even gotten fully prepared for the day myself. Easily on a regular basis, he's here by 6 o'clock, sometimes earlier. Mr. Palmer loves this school. Mr. Palmer loves your students. Mr. Palmer loves to teach. Mr. Palmer loves to serve. And we love Mr. Palmer. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Highest GPA and A honor roll, Josiah Jimenez. Come on up, Josiah, 11th grade. We have an online student who's not able to be with us today, Armani Ginebre, AB honor roll. Let's give him a round of applause. We have another online student, Camila Reed, A honor roll. Let's recognize her. Good job, Camila. And then we do have a student, A honor roll, 11th grade, who is here, Bethany Charpentier. We're going to move right into 12th grade. We're going to leave these students up here, 12th grade. Highest GPA and A honor roll, Benjamin Torres. Come on up, Ben. And AB honor roll, Toby Neal. Our 12th grade will be graduating tomorrow, and I hope you'll be able to join us 6:30 tomorrow night. We have our seniors being recognized and honoring all they've accomplished, but Benjamin, being the highest GPA, not this year, but over the entire 4 years, has received valedictorian for our graduating 12th grade class. Congratulations, Ben. And Toby, all 4 years GPA average, received salutatorian, second highest GPA for the graduating class. Let's give them a round of applause. Parents, if you'd like to take a picture, come on up. As you're doing that, Benjamin actually, it's pretty impressive. I'm going to brag on Ben for a little bit. Ben not only has been involved in our internship program, so once a week he's not even at school. He had to make up all the work. He had to make up all the tests. He had to get all the missed assignments and accomplish them because one day a week he wasn't here. On top of that, the last 2 or 3 weeks, Ben, you've been online. He's been an online student, came here at the end of the day today to go over the graduation practice and to be here for the award ceremony. So Ben, finishing the final part of the year online, which is no easy feat. Ben missing a day of every week for the entire year, and he still got the top of his class. That's pretty amazing. Ben, you worked hard for that valedictorian. We're proud of you, bud. Good job. Let's give him one round of applause. Well done, class. 11th and 12th grade. All right, students, you can have a seat. Thank you. I'd like for Pastor John to come back up now for our Christian character, high school Christian character. Again, teachers nominated students they felt best represented the qualities they would expect to see in a student, high school student, and we have chosen 2. The young man we have chosen is Daniel Assad. And our 9th through 12th grade young woman, Ella Perillo. If you'd like to take some pictures, come on up, parents. All right, thank you. You guys can have a seat. Well done. Thank you, Pastor John. I'd like for Miss Malello to come back up now, please. Miss Malello has been doing a lot of extra things over the years to assist with paperwork, accreditation, reaccreditation. She helped Pastor John with that this year. And for the last couple of years has been helping us with our fine arts. In fact, traveled to, was it Vermont, Massachusetts? New Hampshire. Traveled to New Hampshire with some of our students and parents to help the students compete. And we have some awards to give out for those who did very well. I'd like to start by giving out our state awards. Students who received recognition in the state of Connecticut. We have third place for acrylic painting, state of Connecticut, Mia Candelora Cruz. Come on up, Mia. This is all of the state schools combined, not just third place in our school, third place in all of the schools, Christian schools in the state of Connecticut, which there are 6 of them. She has third place. Our next one, second place in acrylic painting, Asher Hayes. There are opportunities for students to take tests, as if we don't give enough. Students who love a particular subject can take a test, and they're graded against other students who take those tests in our state. Third place in history and geography. Pastor Jordan would be proud. Sebastian Hariveau, third place for the state of Connecticut. He must love geography more than you, right, Pastor Jordan? Yes, most definitely. We have first place in the entire state of Connecticut for photography, Ella Perillo. First place in mixed media, couldn't be with us today, but Bryant Rosario. Let's give him a round of applause. And third place in the state of Connecticut for watercolor, Eladina Torres. We have 3 awards to give out for students who not only placed high in the state, but placed high in the region. This includes Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Yes, so all of these states combined, of all the schools combined, we had 3 students who got in the top 3. One of them top first place, and this was for crafts. And so we have for middle school student who placed first in the entire 5-state region for crafts, 6th grade, Jack Wood. Of all of the students in all of the states up here in the New England area for string solo, 2nd place, Cameron Hester. And then we have a student who was competing for the middle school, and this was landscape and architecture photography, and placed 2nd place in the entire region for middle school. 2nd place, Lydia Assad. Parents, come on up and take your pictures. All right, thank you, students. You can have a seat. We are almost done. We have one more set of awards to give out. If I could have Mrs. Asbury come on up. Mrs. Asbury is our secretary. She also teaches 6th grade math. Not a lot of secretaries out there that want more to do on top of secretarial of a school of 200 students. But Mrs. Asbury has been so gracious to assist in the area of middle school math and does a great job. On top of her secretarial duties, Mrs. Asbury has helped with paperwork, of course, and other things, one of which is our Honor Society. So Mid-State Christian Academy participates in the National American Association of Christian Schools Honor Society, which requires a 3.7. Is that correct? 3.7. And students who attain that average over their high school year. So the first year in 9th grade, if they get a 3.7, they're in the Honor Society. 10th grade, if it's average between those 2 years, 3.7, they stay in it. 11th, 12th grade, and so on. And so we have multiple students who've attained a 3.7. Mrs. Asbury has done a lot of work to get the paperwork in and to make sure that these students get recognized. We are so grateful for Mrs. Asbury. On top of teaching 6th grade, she has subbed many times for classes when teachers have not been able to be here. She has run errands for me using her own car to pick up stuff that we need, always with a great attitude. So let's give Mrs. Asbury a round of applause. Thank you so much. Now, students, when I call your name, come on up. We have a certificate for you. And before you sit back down, there is a little pin at the table. You can pick that up before you go and have your seat after we take your picture. So, Honor Society will begin with Nicholas Govea, 3.7 average. Mia Candelora Cruz. Levi Williamson. Madison Stuckey. Mariah Hernandez. Sebastian Harivo. Josiah Jimenez. Cameron Hester. And Ben Torres. Coming up for pictures, parents. All right, students, come on over here and get your pens before you sit down. Thank you. You may have a seat. Pens are over here. Let's give them one more round of applause. Great job, guys. One more thing before I am done. We do have Pastor Jordan coming up shortly. I'd like for Mrs. Palmer to come up. We haven't recognized Mrs. Palmer. Mrs. Palmer, come on up here. Mrs. Palmer is one of those behind-the-scene characters that really doesn't want recognition and are the ones who probably deserve it most. If you have a student who joined our school for the first year and struggled in reading or math, then you probably know exactly what Mrs. Palmer does. Mrs. Palmer takes your student and she puts her heart, sweat, blood, and tears into them to help them succeed. Sometimes parents use Mrs. Palmer for tutoring after school during the summer, but easily 80% probably plus of the work that Mrs. Palmer does, tutoring your student during school and after school, you don't pay her, parents. Most of you know that. Mrs. Palmer, like her husband, is here far beyond most of our teachers. There's many days where our teachers are walking out of the building and Mrs. Palmer is working with the student in one of our learning coach rooms or classrooms, easily an hour plus on a lot of days, after school is done, because she loves your student and she knows that they can succeed if they're given the chance. And Mrs. Palmer wants to give them that chance. Let's give Mrs. Palmer a round of applause. Thank you for all you do, Mrs. Palmer. Thank you. And we have one more award to give out before we dismiss. Pastor Jordan, come on back up. Pastor Jordan teaches our music class, and he asked me if he could recognize one student in the class who has done, has excelled. I'll let him give the rest of the details in his award.
So guitar class was a little bit difficult. Not only have I never taught before guitar class, but I've never taught 32 students at one time guitar. It was a little bit hectic at times, but all of them really have excelled. They really loved it. They've been patient with me. They've been patient with each other. And so I really commend them for their hard work. I'm giving this away. It's called a guitar lele. So it sounds like a ukulele, but it plays like a guitar. I told them I would give this away at the end of the year for the student who always had a great attitude, always put their best foot forward, never gave me a hard time. And I'm going to give this to Abby Smith. There's a little note in the back for you. You're welcome.
Well, parents, that concludes our award ceremony. We are so grateful for the chance that we have as a school, and I say this a lot because I really mean it. We are truly grateful. I know that you invest a lot into your students, and it's not just financial. Finances might be the least that you invest. It may not always feel that way, but you invest a lot of time, a lot of effort helping your students succeed, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Our teachers are grateful for parents who partner with us. We have not taken your students from you. We are training them with you. We truly believe that. We're grateful for the partnership that we have with your families and look forward to many more years ahead. For those families who God has called to homeschool or to other schools, our heart's desire is that we have done our best to get them to that place where they can succeed wherever God brings them, wherever you might bring them. And I want to tell you this, parents, if you've chosen another school, if you've chosen homeschool, your child is always welcome here. If we are doing an event, a homecoming celebration, a sports program, it would bring joy to our hearts to see them attend that and to visit and be with their friends. If there's an event that we're doing and you would like to participate, all you got to do is call the school. Once you're part of Mid-State Christian Academy's family, as far as I'm concerned, you're always part of that family. Whether you are here or somewhere else, our love for you does not diminish. So please do not feel like an outsider. If there's any way we can be a help to your family, even if it's not daily in teaching, please let us know how we can do that. If you're homeschooling next year and your child wants to play sports, 6th through 12th grade, give us a call and they can join our sports program. Let's go ahead and close with prayer, and then we'll dismiss and get right into our Parent Association meeting if you'd like to stay. And if parents, if you don't want to stay, I'll give you directions on how you can pick up your students. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the chance to recognize these students, to honor them, their efforts, and their families. We love you, and we thank you for the love that you have for these students and for our staff. I pray that tomorrow, as we come back and have our last day together, a day of fun and just good times, I pray that memories would be made that would last the rest of the summer, and these students would truly feel blessed to have been part of this school family this year. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen.